Hello, and welcome to A Cup of Spirituality. We are so glad you are here, and yes, we've been having some giggles before we got live. This is a space where spirituality feels like having a cozy chat over a cuppa with friends. Now, today we're diving into crystals for balance and support. And each month we explore topics that you've been asking about, from grounding and connecting to angels to understanding chakras, crystals, and so much more. And we would love for you to say hello in the comments, like this video, share with anyone who'd enjoy it, and let us know your thoughts or questions. This show is all about you, your curiosity, your journey, and your growth. And of course, if we don't get to your question in this episode, then don't worry. It may become a topic for a future show. We are here to create a community of learning, connection, and exploration. And most importantly, this is a safe, judgment-free space where everyone is welcome to share and grow.
Absolutely. We're passionate about building a space where we can all learn from each other and connect with like-minded souls. It's all about building a tribe. So whether you're brand new to spirituality or you've been on your path for a while, there's always something new to explore. And I just want to say we're planning our next year's shows already. So if you've got some questions, now is the time to either put them in the chat or message us, because we're looking for content for next year shows, so you could get in there first if you've got these burning questions, or if you just want to share with us what you've been doing and you want some back and forth, we're happy to get involved with that too. So anyway, it's time to settle in with your favorite cup. I've got mine already, and to dive into this month's topic, which is all about crystals. But before we do that, we really ought to introduce ourselves properly. So Ray, did you want to go first?
Yep, certainly. So I'm Ray, and I'm a spiritual guide and healer who is passionate about helping you reconnect with your divine presence and step into your purpose. Now, through angelic Reiki, guide meditations, and exploring past and future lives, I support you in healing your past and creating a soul-aligned future. And my journey has taught me, with the right tools and guidance, we can all connect with our higher selves, embrace transformation, and live a life full of abundance and fulfillment. And I'm here to hold space for you as we explore spirituality together in this safe and supportive community.
Yeah. And I just want to say, hey Therese, hey lovely. So I'm Sally. Hey beautiful. I'm passionate about empowering women to be the best women they can be. So I work with Mary Magdalene. I channel her wisdom through. I offer guided meditations. I offer spiritual development, in which I can come into the meditations with you, so to help introduce you to your guide. I'm a trauma-informed somatic coach, so I help women relieve and release trauma from their bodies. And starting in January, I'm offering a Wednesday monthly online journaling class, which is about using oracle cards to help take our journaling that step further. And you don't even need to have to enjoy, like writing. You can use bullet points, you can use diagrams. The point is we're embedding it on the paper, which help works its magic. So if you're interested in that, drop a message or find me on my website, which will probably be running along the bottom, but if not, it's heaventoheart.com. Anyway, we ought to start with our topic on crystals, really. So
Yes.
When I was thinking about crystals, the first thing I did when I thought about this show was, how do I use crystals in my life? And I thought I would start with that, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Because so I have it for two main, I'm using them at different stages in my life. I've used crystals for different things, but at the moment, I'm afraid to say it's mainly about the menopause. So I am finding them really supportive in helping with things like the anxiety, like amethyst, calming my mind, the anxiety to do with the menopause. I should also say from the outset that the information that I'm giving to you today, I got from my friend Sally, who has a website called www.theholistichamper.co.uk, and all the information I'm talking about tonight, I'm sharing, is from her website, and I've got permission to do that. And then the other thing I use is carnelian for strength and support, and it's like drawing that strong energy from within. So like when you're just feeling exhausted and everything becomes too much. your hormones are haywire, you're crying at the John Lewis advert, which happened to me. You're crying. I went to a light show yesterday. I was crying because it was so beautiful. I know I'm so sad, but I felt it was almost like when I was pregnant, I used to cry at everything, and now I'm menopausal, I'm crying at everything. And I was so grateful that I know. I was so grateful to have my carnelian and amethyst with me in my pocket, just to sort of help pave the way. And then the other thing I've been using is citrine for happiness, and also that's great for manifestation. And at the moment, this time of year, it's all about drawing that light within. We're in the darkest part or point of the year until the 21st of December, Yule, when it's the days start to get longer. So at the moment, we need all the help we can get. So crystals that draw in the light, like citrine and carnelian and lemon calcite, those sorts of things. I was actually going to come and show them all to you, but then I realised they're all in pockets of various dresses and stuff that I've been wearing. I was like, oh my life, I can't even find them because they literally are in use at the moment. And then the other one I really like using is Moonstone, and that's for peace and healing. And also, I've been getting the most weirdest dreams, the most weirdest, wonderful, like trippy dreams. And Moonstone is really helping with that. I can't say that they're like premonition dreams or anything like that. They literally are just bizarre dreams, and I don't know where it's coming from. And so I'm just blaming it on the menopause. But Moonstone and Selenite have really been helping me with that. And yeah, I do feel that when your life becomes weird and wonderful, crystals are a really easy way of helping to redress that balance. And I've also got one of those water bottles that they call crystal water or bee water or something, and they've got crystals inside, and they really help. So they might look like they're just pretty, like these little candy stones, but they pack a punch. So it might be worth giving it a go if you're menopausal and just emotional, like I am all the time at the moment.
Yeah, but hey, that's the menopause. It's something most of us
It
go
is.
through. Um, I always look at it like a rite of passage. It shows that we've got to that mature stage,
Yeah.
that crone stage
Oh,
uh,
yeah,
of
yeah.
our life, the wisdom.
Yeah, I love being a crone. I'm not sure I'm wise yet. I haven't got to the wise bit yet. I'm still immature, but I love that. I just love being in the crone thing, and also where you just don't care anymore. You say whatever you want to say. You don't mind what people think about you anymore, and yeah, and everyone's entitled to my opinion. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And I tend to, when we're talking about this, I've got crystals everywhere around the house, and obviously the main one that I tend to use crystals for is obviously working with the angels, because obviously my angels and my crystals go together. So I'll go through those in a minute. But like you, with crystals, my water filter jug has actually got some crystals in there, and my water jugs, they have crystals in. So there's always crystals in my water. It's always charged with crystals, and I've got around some crystals with me that I work with the angels. A couple of them I can't find, but I will explain that a little bit later as to why I can't find them, which is really fascinating. So angels and crystals. I mean, Archangel Michael, the one that everyone knows. I find black tourmaline is really good, which you kind of like think, but hold on, Archangel Michael, we think of him as blue, although actually, if you look at the Kabbalah, he's actually orange. He's actually an orange color, not blue color.
Oh,
Yes. Um, but yeah, so black tourmaline with Archangel Michael, which is great, obviously, when you need ground and protection or to feel strong and steady, because obviously the darker the crystal, the more grounding, the more protective energy it is. But you have to be careful with the dark stones because they all look very similar to each other. So you kind of like have to be aware that what you might think is black tourmaline could actually, might possibly be get confused with sungite or onyx or something like that. So you kind of like have to be wary with the dark crystals, and the apps that you get on the phone that are, show you what the crystal is. Quite often they can't distinguish between the various stones. So you always have to, they are good, but you have to be aware that might not be the exact one that comes up. I mean, I showed, I've got a rose quartz heart here, and I showed it, but because of the light coming off it, it put it down as clear quartz, but it's actually a rose quartz. So that's something to bear in mind. And obviously, with rose quartz, Archangel Raphael, or you can use green adventuring, which I can't find at the moment. And obviously they're heart-based stones, and they are brilliant for emotional healing, gentle release, and opening your heart up. Then we come on to Archangel Gabriel, and I can't find my moonstone, but I do have my selenite angel.
Oh, she's beautiful, or he.
She is gorgeous. She is absolutely lovely. So did you just hold up a piece of moonstone then?
I did, yeah. I was trying to find one. I've got some rainbow moonstone on my
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
So it's a nice flashy one.
Yeah, so Archangel Gabriel. Selenite and moonstone are good for intuition, dreams, messages, and creative flow. Then for Archangel Jophiel, who is always a really happy angel, we have citrine. And I make sure all my bottles or my glasses with crystals in have a citrine in them, because I just love it. I think it's a really happy crystal, and it brings more joy, confidence, and it can lift your mood or the environment you're in. So if you're in a really dark living space or something, get loads of citrine and the orange and the yellow crystals and put them around everywhere to bring that beautiful energy in. And then for Archangel Metatron, believe it or not, clear quartz.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
I know, because you think of Metatron and you think of the lilacs and the purples, but no, clear quartz, which is perfect for spiritual growth, focus, and clearing old patterns, which obviously Metatron is really good for. And also, clear quartz is one of the best amplifying crystals that you can use with other crystals. But also, if you don't have a crystal for a particular thing, so say you wanted to open up your heart, but you can't find any rose quartz, or you can't find any green aventurine, then you can use a clear quartz crystal, and you can actually charge that to act as a rose quartz crystal. And a bit later, I'll go through how I charge the crystals to take on the energy, especially clear quartz. So that's kind of like one of the ways I use crystals is with the archangels and the angels. Any other ways you use the crystals, Sally?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit in general about how I use them around the house and garden, if that's okay. Then I also want to talk about crystals for chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and that kind of thing. So around the house, I've gridded my house. I have so in the bedroom, I've got clear quartz and rose quartz, just to make sure it's a clear, cleansed space, but also just full of love. So when you're sleeping, you're just cocooned in love, which I think is wonderful. Under one of my boys' beds, who has difficulty sleeping, I put some selenite under his bed. He doesn't even, well, he will know now actually, because he'll be watching this. But until now, he didn't know.
Oh well, you've been outed now on the show.
Oh my life! I can't believe I just said that.
You might not want.
Well.
Hi.
And then I'm just going to keep going. And then I have shungi in the kitchen around the microwave to make sure, and I have one, a thin one, back of my phone case, so I don't get the EMFs. Um, and I also have my garden gridded as well, using smoky quartz and black tourmaline. Just because every day I do something called a pyramid of protection when I do my psychic readings and coaching and that kind of thing. And I just reinforce that grid a couple of times a day so that this house and the garden and the area just are protected and full of love and light at all times. What's Therese saying? There's so many crystal suppliers.
Yeah, so
Oh, Therese, I can message you. I know somebody who's very very good. I can message you. I don't know if we are allowed to, but I can tell you somebody.
I don't see why not. I mean, obviously, these are our own personal
Oh,
recommendations.
okay,
So,
okay, okay,
so don't hold anything against us. These are
okay.
people or where we've purchased crystals from that we find, reliable. But obviously, use your own judgment.
Yeah. So there's one near us called Such a Beautiful Day in the Westbourne Arcade, Therese, and she Victoria's very good. There is the holistic hamper that the lady I've just started working with, who has given me all the information for this show. And I have got another person who I can tell you about later. So they don't have a bricks and mortar shop or anything like that, but I know somebody who can get hold of good crystals if you want them. What about you, Ray? Do you know any good people?
Yeah, I mean, Mary used to do crystals, but she's been selling those off now. But there's a lady called Delia. I can't remember what her business is called. I really should. And she does online, but she also goes around to different festivals. And she's first Saturday of every month. She's down in Dartford Town Centre. So she's really good for crystals. There's a shop called Manor Purity, which is in Bexley Heath. And I know her crystals are all ethically sourced. So she's really good. I also have got crystals from Watkins Books up in London.
Oh,
They do quite a good crystal selection. And then obviously other crystals I've got when I've been down in Glastonbury, and one particular shop, um, Celeste.
Celestial,
That
Celestial.
that's the one.
Yeah,
I've always
they're
loved.
who I.
Yeah, I've always loved their crystals. I mean, I have brought crystals online, but I've but when I've done that, it's because I've needed them and I've not been able to physically get somewhere to get them. But again, when I'm doing that, I will sort of like see what I will get a feel from the
Yeah.
person selling them, what reviews are on there. And also I'll use my pendulum, just, asking, was this a genuine crystal? Is it
Mm.
ethically sourced? So yeah, but use your own discernment as to, um, where you get your crystals from. But there are lots of good ones, as well as the non-reliable ones.
Is it worth putting some websites we've talked about? Is it worth us putting them in the link when the recording
Yeah,
goes out? Is that something we can do? When I
yeah.
say we, you know, I mean you, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Once
Or is it
the
a real we?
once the show's finished, we'll put whatever links we can find to
The
these
people we've
places.
mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that we've mentioned. And again, use your own discernment. These are just the ones that we've personally used, but you might not resonate with the people in there, which is absolutely fine.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, lovely.
No,
Um,
that's fine. So where were you?
I think I might talk about crystals for chronic fatigue. So, for those of you that don't know, I've got fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and I would say that crystals and essential oils, which we should do a show on actually, essential oils,
Hmm.
crystals and essential oils have been the two most supportive um, tools. I think that I mean they've helped me the most. Weirdly, you think it would be like medication or something, but it's not medication. It just isn't as good as using crystals, essential oils, meditation, mindful practices, that kind of thing. Weirdly, it's about getting your whole body into a calm. I was going to say calm state of mind, but that doesn't really make sense. But getting yourself in the zone. So amethyst again is really good for chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. Also selenite. That I feel that whether it says this on the internet or not, I feel that when you're wearing selenite, you can almost feel it drawing the pain out, which is very strange. And then malachite really seems to help with joint pain. It's if you've hurt your ankle, hurt your knee or something, just wear a malachite bracelet for a bit, and you can really feel that warming. Then the other thing is rose quartz. It's a very soothing crystal, and yeah, it is just like like I said about gridding the bedroom with rose quartz. It's about like wrapping yourself in love really, and it does reduce inflammation. And the other thing that reduces inflammation is appetite. I don't want to get up out of the camera, but I don't know if I can show. Let's do it. There's a heart there to the right of Mary. That's appetite. And then I've got celestite above, and that glowing angel there is actually a selenite angel. But appetite is really good for drawing out inflammation, which you wouldn't really think because it's a bluey green.
Mm.
But you can feel it pulling out inflammation. And the other thing I would say is using a dark crystal like smoky quartz or obsidian, something like that, to protect your aura and protect your energies, because often flare-ups occur because we're empaths and we take on other people's energies and traumas and that kind of thing. So wearing dark crystals, just like a bracelet or put one in your pocket, really does help with that. And yeah, that's probably enough. I've spoken enough about that. I've got one more to talk about, which is long COVID, but I'm happy if you want to say
Yeah.
something. Right?
Yeah, well, I'll sort of like mention about uh, crystals that you can use for sleep and vivid dreams, because sleep is, something that, again, if you're going through the menopause, you might have sleep issues. When the moon, the energies will change, and you might have sleep issues. So the ones that I would I would use would be amethyst, which is very calming and helps settle your mind. Lepidolite, which is lovely for sleep and emotional ease. Sodalite, which can help with overthinking at night, which I think is one of the reasons a lot of us have issues sleeping is we overthink. So put in some
So
sodalite.
like,
Yes, I said it earlier. Underneath your pillow can really help. Moonstone, obviously, gentle dream support, and howlite, which actually is a good tension
of course,
release and supports rest. Although one thing to be wary of if you're going to use amethyst in the bedroom, some people find it too energizing. So always listen to your own body and adjust. And again, if you're going to be using any other crystals for sleep, be aware that some of them can be a little bit too energizing. And if you literally have got your whole bed surrounded by hundreds of crystals, you probably are not going to get that really deep sleep that you need to be grounded. You'll be in such a light sleep, or you'll be too buzzy that you won't be able to sleep. So don't have too many crystals around your bed, under your
very
pillow. um that's not brilliant. I mean, at the moment I'm sleeping with lapis lazuli, That's under my pillow at the moment because I've been working on my third eye. Because obviously that's a great crystal for that. And that is going to be another show that we will be doing in the future. So I'm not going to go too much into this, but crystals actually work really beautifully with the chakras. But that is a whole topic on its own, which we are going to cover another time. Um, but for now, just know that crystals often match by colour. Reds for grounding, greens and pinks for heart, blues for communication. But then you can also have your own coloured chakras, which we will go into in another show. But it will just be for your discernment as to which crystals you use. So yeah, long COVID, because obviously a lot of people seem to be suffering
Yeah.
with that.
So the first thing is clear quartz because it has a balancing effect on the body and it can help with fatigue and anxiety. Citrine again because it's bringing in that positive energy, isn't it? I think the hero of the day for us is citrine, isn't it tonight,
Yeah.
Ray? And then lapis lazuli as well because it's you were just saying for the third eye, but it's also good for headaches and migraines, which I guess
Mm.
fits because
And the
your head
head.
as well. Yes. And it also has a soothing effect on your nervous system, which in turn can reduce pain and discomfort. And the other one that I hadn't thought of and I don't really use actually, it's in my crystal cupboard, but I haven't really pulled it out, which is aquamarine.
Ah.
Um, yeah, and it's one that I have got because I qualified to be a crystal healer. Not that I don't really do it, but I qualified, and it's really good for immune support and strengthening support, helping the energy of your mind and your body to balance.
Ah.
And yes, it sounds like a real powerful little thing that I've never used before. Um, I want to just mention about howlite because you often get fakes of howlite online. It's often a different crystal that's been painted white with the grey lines. Um, it's always a good idea if you're shopping online for crystals to have a look at some photos first of just do an image search so you can see what a real howlite. And the other thing is blue howlite that a lot of places sell. That's actually dyed white howlite, so it still has the properties of, it's fine to get it, but it has the properties of the white howlite rather than the blue, like the third eye or the throat chakra and that kind of thing. So it's worth bearing that in mind. And I would say to do an image search to get to know what the crystals look like before you go onto Etsy or a shop to buy, because then you'll know what one of that particular crystal looks like, really. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It is good to check your sources. And of course, it doesn't matter the size of the crystal. I've got obviously a
you're saying that
large.
size doesn't matter.
No size, no size does not matter. I mean, I didn't actually bring it down, but I have got a tiny piece of Moldavite. I mean, it's only a tiny piece, but that
Oh,
is, I mean, Moldavite is such a strong, powerful crystal. And if you are planning on working with Moldavite, gradually build up to it. It's not a good crystal to wear all the time unless you're used to that energy. As I said, I've got
yeah,
a tiny piece, and that is so powerful. If I've meditated that on my third eye, on my heart chakra, then my God, it's just wow. So be wary about the power of crystals, but also know that size does not matter when it comes to crystal. The tiniest crystal can be as powerful as the biggest crystal. So you don't have to go out spending money, on clusters and, geodes and all these big ones, tiny little ones. I said I couldn't find my green aventurine. Look, there it is,
yeah.
right beside of me.
Ah,
And that's teeny tiny, but it's still a good crystal. So I was going to say, wasn't I, about crystals disappearing. So it's really kind of like crystals choose you. You never ever choose a crystal, even if you think, oh, I'm going to look for a rose quartz crystal. You will get the rose quartz crystal that is meant to work for you. So, you know, you go into a shop and you've got all these rose quartz crystals. Only one of those will actually speak to you because crystals choose you. You know, it's like they're right for your energy. Um, you know, if I'm going into a shop and I've, you know, quite often I don't go that I'm looking for a crystal, but I'll go past and then a group of crystals will catch my eye and I'll say like, ooh, I'm feeling a call for that. What I'll do, I literally will pick a crystal up and literally just hold it in my hand and stand there and just tune in. How does this feel? You know, if I get a nice buzzing from it, a nice vibration, oh, that's quite good. And I might go through several. So if you're ever behind me in a shop, if I'm choosing crystals, you might have to wait a bit because I have been known to go through the whole lot to find one that actually buzzes in my hand. But crystals choose us, they also choose when to leave us. When they feel that they finished their work, they either break, they disappear, or they get passed on. You know, that's normal. Nothing has gone wrong. So if you've got a crystal that you've been using and it's your favorite crystal and it cracks or it breaks, that's absolutely fine. It's because it's done the work it needs to do for you and it doesn't need to do that anymore. So don't be afraid if crystals break, disappear. I mean, when I was in India, forget what crystal it was. I had it on a necklace. And when we got back to the hotel, it was gone. It'd fallen off somewhere because obviously I didn't need it anymore. And it was probably there waiting for somebody else to come along who needed it more than I did to pick it up. So don't ever
Oh,
worry about crystals that disappear. There's a reason they've disappeared. The work's done, or there's somebody else that needs that energy from that. Have you noticed you've had crystals that have gone missing or cracked in the past, Sally?
yeah, lots of times. And they go missing. Sometimes they go missing for a really long time, and then they appear
Mm.
where I know I hadn't put them. You know, somewhere completely. You know, like they've appeared in my car, and I hadn't ever been wearing that crystal. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, it happens quite a lot. I have a fair few break, and I find that I know you said that when they break, it's because you don't need them anymore, but I still find it really sad because I feel like they're my friends, and you know, and I'm used to having their energy around. So I do find that quite traumatic when they
Yeah,
break.
no,
And I
no.
know,
I totally agree. I've got a lovely rose quartz angel with a point on the end, and that kind of like broke. So underneath my fairy bit, I had the top part under the head and the bottom part under the feet. Because I thought, oh,
oh,
maybe you know. So that's her. Although I have now stuck her back together, and
oh,
she's still got a nice energy. So obviously she still wants to work for me, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
Um, so
So
oh, so again, with crystals, you know, you can keep crystals anywhere. You know, you can put them in your car for protection. You can wear them, have them in your pockets, by your bed. Literally, the beauty with crystals is you can take them anywhere. You can put them in your bra.
I do that quite a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing, and that's the beauty. You know, you can carry them anywhere, and you know, again, you know, you can wear them as bracelets,
Yeah, I've
or
got four.
on necklaces, and
Yeah,
they so if you're worried about people thinking you're strange because you work with crystals, well, they look like beautiful bracelets or necklaces. So you can have them out there without people knowing why you're particularly wearing them if you don't want them to know.
yeah. So I was given this really big piece of obsidian that a friend got from Machu Picchu. And it's massive. And when you hold it, you can feel it taking out all the negative energy. And so I started with it, and it's really interesting because friends will come in, and I can feel their energy and they need their house clearing or something's been going on. And I feel the crystal speaking to me saying, I need to go to them. So I give the crystal to the friend, and then after a few months, their house feels cleared, their energy feels better, and they feel drawn to give it back, and then it stays with me on my windowsill till the next friend needs it. And now this quite big crystal, even though it was given to me, it goes round people who need
Yes, so people that need it often will take on the crystals because the crystal is calling to them, which is absolutely brilliant when that happens. And obviously we've lost, there she goes, she's back again.
it. Am I back?
You are back.
I am back. Sorry about that, guys. This podcast is once a month, and once a month my son comes home, so the internet is just everyone's on the internet at my house. Um, so I think this is what happens. But yes, just like Ray was just saying, because I can still hear Ray when I'm off. Um, so yeah, the crystal knows that it's needed and calls to me and knows it needs to go to these people. And when it's ready to come back for a recharge, ready for the next person, that's what it does. And it's like, with a sacred sisterhood of, the black obsidian or something. It's lovely the way it works. Yeah.
Yeah, and Reflex Dragon says, I infuse them into my art. They are so lovely to work with.
Oh.
That's beautiful. I love it when, that, again, what you can actually use them for. Um,
Mm.
and in art, yes. I mean, I've seen art with crystals in them, and I know people that have used crushed crystals in the paint,
Oh.
uh, which I think is absolutely
Wow.
beautiful because they are so versatile
Mm.
that you can use them. Now, of course, when you've actually got a crystal, what do you do with it? Um, how do I use it straight away? I always like to cleanse crystals. I mean, anything that goes into my therapy room gets cleansed before it goes in there anyway. So but you don't want to overthink, which I think some people do. They overthink about cleansing crystals, but all it really is setting the energy of the crystal so that it supports you. So I'll go through the ones I use, and then Sally might have some different ones, or she might use the same ones. So depending on the crystal, I may use incense, Palo Santo, sage herbs, incense sticks, where I literally just simply pass the crystal through the smoke with the intention, and all of this is with intention of clearing anything that is picked up. You don't need to say anything special. You can just hold the thought of clear and reset. Water, some crystals are fine with water, some aren't. And if in doubt, keep it dry. But for those that can go underwater, it's normally the quartzes, amethyst, aventurine, etc. Things like selenite and other similar type crystals do not put underwater any way, shape, or form. But the ones you can put underwater, again, just as they're under the water, set the intention that they're being cleansed. You can also use sounding with them. So a singing bowl, chimes, a bell, or even clapping works. Sound is lovely because it shifts energy without you having to do too much. Lighting some incense, running some water, or the most simplest one of all. And this is how I do it. And I'll go through, I'll do the bits of the process I use. Um, so if I say like I've got a crystal, I would hold it in my hands and I literally go, just breathe on it. And I say, I clear this crystal of old energy and dedicate it to the highest good, or I clear all negative energy from this crystal. intention really does work. And then once I've cleared, I then will charge the crystals to bring back their brightness. So again, I will use sunlight, which is great for quartz, citrine, and tiger's eye, but just avoid long exposure for anything that fades, like amethyst, rose quartz, or fluorite, because obviously you want them to keep that vibrant colour. And sun is so strong and powerful that it can bleach the colours out. Moonlight, obviously, we all know about moonlight and putting your crystals out in beautiful luna's energy. You know, it's gentle, calming, and it's great for emotional and intuitive crystals. You know, and any moon phase is fine, although obviously, as saying, most people like using the full moon. And again, you can do it, charge it by intention. You know, you hold the crystal and you breathe your purpose into it. You know, I charge this crystal to bring calm, to help me stay centered, to help me sleep. Again, you know, it's like with the clear quartz, you know, I've cleansed the crystal, I dedicate it to the highest good of all. I charge this quartz crystal to take on the energy of rose quartz crystal for the time that I need it. And I normally repeat that each one 3 times. And for me, that cleanses, clears, and charges the crystal. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. Crystals work through partnership. They don't actually work through, well, no, they can work through perfection, but, you know, they work through partnership, not perfection.
That's
What
I
about
love
you, Sally?
I just love that crystals work in partnership, not perfection. I love that phrase.
Mm,
I'm gonna remember that one. That's a good one. So you've basically mentioned most of mine. When I first get a crystal, I will wash it just in plain old tap water, and then I will, if it can go into water, if it's not like selenite, celestite, or the ite ones, the ones
yeah,
that end in ite tend to be the ones that you shouldn't put in water. I will do it in moon water. Now, people think, oh, moon water, yeah, it must be right faff to do. No, it isn't. I just have a clear jug on my windowsill and I don't shut my curtains, so it's actually very easy to get moon water. And I use that same water to water my plants as well, my indoor plants. So I will do that. I also do use sage or incense and that kind of thing. I charge them the same way that you do, putting them in my hand and putting the intention in 3 times, and I repeat that each day. When I've finished that particular use for them, I will put them on a selenite plate to recharge them for a couple of days. And my bracelets, when I finished with them, at the end of the day, I store them on selenite towers, so that I just literally just stack them up on my selenite towers, so that they're cleansed throughout the day, and any of the, you know, people's energies and bits and bobs that go on them, they're cleansed overnight. Yeah, so basically I do the same as you, really.
yeah. So why do you use the selenite towers to put your crystals on?
Because selenite is really good for cleansing, clearing crystals. So it's removing any of the energetic stuff they've picked up during the day. Selenite's very good at, which is why it's good to help us sleep. It removes all of that energy and the stuff we don't want anymore. So that's why I store them on a selenite tower, because it's just recharging them. I got that tip when you said somebody called Marie who used to sell crystals. I think I got the selenite towers from her, and she
Uh,
stopped doing it a few years ago, didn't she?
well,
And
last year
or
or
she's just
so.
not doing it as much.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got my rose quartz lamp from her, which is just across there. I'm pretty sure it's her because I know she was Kent Way. Um, yeah. So, and what else was I going to say? I was going to also talk about moldavite a little bit, because it's interesting what you said about moldavite, because I can't wear it. I put it in my hand and it feels like, I don't remember back in the day, those hex bugs, those little toys that would vibrate. That's what it feels like in my hand. And honestly, even though it's a tiny bit and it's in my hand, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. it gets my heart going so much, and I know that means that I've got something to clear. I know that, but I can't go through the pain of having it on my hand to do that. And it was interesting because I used to teach in a school for children with social, emotional, and mental health issues. And one of the pupils, a lot of them are just indigo children, and they don't fit into the boxes that mainstream school tries to force our children into. And so they went to a place like I used to work. And interesting, even though some of the children didn't believe in crystals, when this girl brought in moldavite, they could all feel it buzzing on their hands, even though they thought crystals were just pretty stones. So it just shows you how powerful they are. If somebody's like a non-believer and they can still feel the energy, and they really want to not feel the energy because they really want to prove me wrong and make out that I'm woo, which I am woo. But the fact that they could feel it in their hands shows how strong some of the crystals really are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is amazing how so strong they are. And you were mentioning about crystal grids earlier. I once
Oh,
worked
yeah.
somewhere, and the atmosphere in the office wasn't that brilliant. So I went in early one morning, and in each corner of the room, I tucked away a clear quartz crystal. And obviously, I couldn't put one in the middle of the room, but I set the intention that there was a clear quartz crystal in the room, and I created a grid, attention grid, and I actually visualized the lines forming it. And the atmosphere in the office was so much nicer after I did that.
It's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, which just goes to show, how good crystal grids are, and you don't need complicated patterns.
No, no, you really don't. You can make a grid out of, you don't even have to have lots of points, anything. You can make a crystal grid out of anything. Just while you're sitting watching TV, you can put, 4 crystals around you. You don't necessarily need points. You don't need matching crystals. When you see them all on Instagram and things like that, that's people have spent a lot of money on those lovely points and things, but you don't need all of that fancy stuff. You just need a few crystals and an intention. Honestly, they're just as powerful. So you don't need to get het up on these beautiful grids unless you've got like tons of money and you wanted to create these most beautiful masterpieces. Go ahead, but you don't need it if you don't want. You really don't.
No, and and tumble stones are such a
Yeah.
brilliant way of bringing crystals because they are cheap.
Yeah.
You can get them for £1 a crystal. And if people have got their own special offers going on, you can get several for a couple of pounds or something. And they are no different to the clusters that you get.
Mm.
They're just as powerful. They're just as strong. They're just polished, and they're more readily accessible for you. And I don't know if you know this, Sally, but the reason why diamond is so expensive, well,
Because De Beers won't let you get any.
yeah, basically because they came across diamond first. If they'd come across amethyst first and decided that amethyst was what they're going to use and hadn't brought up every single mining thing for amethyst, amethyst would now be one of the most expensive crystals in the world. But it's just the fact they came across diamonds. Otherwise, diamonds would be as cheap as chips.
Wow. That explains a lot because I know that miners are scanned when they come out, and they have proper scans to see if they've swallowed them and everything like that. So they must be trying to keep a closed market on it so they can keep the prices high.
That is yeah, that's why diamonds are so expensive, because it's a closed market. And De Beers, was it De Beers, Rothschild, whoever, those people, they made it so that no one else would be able to mine
Wow.
for them and keep the price. That's why it's so expensive. But yeah, if they'd come across amethyst first, can you imagine if they'd come across clear quartz first? The most versatile crystal ever.
Thank goodness they didn't.
Hey, I know.
The
Um,
greed. The greed. The
I
greed
know.
involved.
I know, I know. But crystals will find you when they're meant to find you, and even if you get, a tiny little bit of diamond, like in my ring here, it's still a bit of energy,
Yeah,
Doesn't matter how tiny it is, it will still pack the energy that you need.
yeah. I mean, my rings are all brass. They're literally just brass, apart from this one's gold. But the rest, and that's got an opal in it, which we haven't even spoken about today. And mine are just brass. They're like £10 each or something. But because they've got crystals on, the energy, you can feel it when you wear them. And that's the thing. This spiritual world doesn't have to be expensive. It's just doing things with intention and the right energy, and
Yeah.
everything else will follow.
It will
Yeah,
certainly indeed. So, Sally, as we've think we've covered most of the topic. I
we
mean, there
have.
is so much more we could
I
go
know.
into,
I was just thinking
but
that.
we'd be here for hours, and we've not had any more questions or comments that have come up about crystals. So, thank you to those of you that have shared so far. It's been absolutely brilliant. And there's Sally back again.
It has
So,
been really good. I'm back again. Hello.
yeah. So, as I was going to say, Sally, what energies of the month and what guidance are you offering?
Oh, so it has been really lovely in my readings and coachings for the last couple of weeks. It's all about the energy of bringing the light within. And it's the idea that it's a stressful time of year, but it doesn't have to be. We can be doing things like going out and bringing the sunlight in, looking at the stars, looking at the moon. Um, I'm going to mention the C word,
Yeah, go
Christmas.
on.
I'm going to mention Christmas. It
You
it
can.
doesn't have to be the way they show it on social media, the way they show it on the in the films on the TV. Christmas is just another day. It doesn't have to be like a Hallmark movie. And I was channeling Yeshua earlier, which I'm going to put a video out later, maybe tomorrow now. And basically, it's he. Whether you believe in God or whatever, or source energy, is just about bringing the power of the cosmos, the high vibration, bring it to Earth, and sharing that with other people. And if we can do that, just being kind to others, trying to keep ourselves but grounded, keep the light within, and keep balanced using crystals, meditation, meditating, doing things mindfully, and shining our light bright. That's what it's about. That's what people did in the past. The pagans did. A Yule log was a log that was set fire to, bringing the light within. And we can be like the Yule log, shining bright our authentic selves. We don't need to worry about the materialistic stuff. We don't even need to send Christmas cards. We don't, as long as we are authentic and true to ourselves, shining our lights bright, following our soul path. That's all. That's all that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what this time of the, time of the year is. And we shouldn't actually just use it for this time of the year. All the year round, we should be being
Yeah,
kind and generous and supportive of everybody around us. And what you do and how you present and the energy you give, it can be such a boost to people. You
yeah.
don't need to have presents and
No,
cards.
no, you don't. You really don't.
And I think on someone put on Facebook, and I think it's gone round a few times, and it's like an older person was saying, they don't need presents from their children. All they need is for that child to to acknowledge them and to be there for them. And that's all they need is the presence and for them to remember that they exist. They
Yeah.
don't
So
need
being
lots of,
present rather than presence.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
beautiful. That really is beautiful, Ray. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I know there. It popped up on Facebook the other day, and it's like when I actually read the whole thing, it kind of like brings a little tear to your eye. But it is, yeah. People need people.
Mm.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what it all comes down to. So shall we see what the cards want to say? Okay. Well, I am using I don't actually have a deck of crystal cards, but I'm going to use the Oracle of the Magical Fairy Forest by my lovely friend Anna Froelich.
Oh, yes.
I
Mm.
love these cards so
Oh, good.
much. And if you want to check out, I've actually done a review of the cards, so you can actually see all the cards. So it's on my YouTube channel. So look at that, and also a couple of interviews that I've done with Anna. So let's see what the cards, the angels, the universe want us to know this week. So what does everyone need to know for this month? For our highest good, what do we all need to know? Highest good for this whole month. Oh, these are so beautiful to shuffle. Okay, that one seems to want to come out. Oh, magical miracles. A wish is coming
Oh,
true. Expect happy surprises. And it's a unicorn.
oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that such a
Oh,
beautiful
that really fits
card?
with the energy of today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, stunning. I need to buy these.
Oh, yeah, no, they are absolutely amazing card. So, for everyone watching, whether live or the replay, know that there are magical miracles coming. Ideal month for it. December is an ideal month for it. Wishes are coming true. Happy surprises are there. Be open to receiving them. Maybe you'll be creating miracles for people, who knows, but just expect them and be in that joy and that magic, that magic of childhood, of fairies, of unicorns, and just expect miracles. Know that miracles are out there because they are coming.
That's amazing. That couldn't have been better. Thank you.
That's why I love working with cards so much, because they're always so perfect for whatever is going on at this moment in time. So if no one else has got any more comments or questions for us, then I would like to say thank you so much for joining us today for A Cup of Spirituality. We hope that you found something meaningful to take away from today's episode. And remember that this is your community, and we would love to hear from you. So don't forget to share your thoughts, like the video, subscribe to our channels so you don't miss our next chats. And let us know what you would like us to talk about in the future.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
We already know we're going to be talking about chakras and alls, but what else would you like us to chat about that maybe you want some more knowledge of, or if you've got anything that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, we really need to know this because our channel isn't, well, I suppose it is just chatting away, to be fair, but we want to chat about what you want to learn about and what you want to know, really. Because it is about, as I said before, about building our tribe, building our community, and we're in this together. We support each other. Stuff that we don't know. We want to hear, what you've got to say too. So, yes, spammers. Oh, thank you, Reflex Dragon. Spammers with what you want to know, what you want the shows to be about. We're all ears. And if you
Well,
want to connect
not
with us
literally,
personally,
because we'd be a bit weird looking if we.
no, true actually. um, and if you want to connect with us personally, you should find our details in the description below, because we're keen to support you on your journey however we can. And feel free to look on my website, heaventoheart.com. My journaling course, my online journaling course, and I'm also doing an online goddess circle. I've just remembered I haven't put them on the website yet, but you can find me on Facebook, you can find me here. And if you're interested in joining them, it's going to be gorgeous. Have you got anything that you want to talk about, Ray, coming up?
Well, obviously you can find me on my website, Radiant Angel Energy, and I do have my free gift where you can connect with the angels and your spirit guides. So do check that out. I'm also going to be the Feminine Frequency Festival.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
me
going to
too.
be presenting there on the 27th at 7:20 p.m. It's a 20-minute slot. Sally is going to be on there as well, and I'll put the days and times that the day and time that she's going to be on there. And this is a beautiful community where from the 21st up until Christmas, you've got different amazing women from around
Yeah.
the world who are doing 20-minute slots sharing their wisdom and guidance. So I'll put the link to it is on Facebook. So apologies if you're not a Facebook person. I will put the link for it to so join the group, and then you'll be able to watch as many or as little of the women that are presenting as you want. And I have just recorded a new guided meditation for you, where you'll be connecting with Archangel Gabriel, um, and it will be celebrating Yule, the winter solstice. So look out for that in the next few weeks. If you've hit the bell button on my YouTube channel, then you should automatically be notified of when that's live. I've been doing a series of guided meditations to celebrate all of the Sabbats with an archangel. So I think after Yule, I've probably got Imbolc. I think that's the last one that I've got to do. So do check them out. And I think that's all. Tasmin says, beautiful chat, very helpful. Thanks to my ladies. It's been wonderful. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thanks, Rose.
Thank you so much. So I think that leaves us to say until next time,
Yeah.
take care, stay curious, and keep sipping on that spirituality. Take care, everyone, and see you next month.